Okay, greetings and peace, everyone. My name is Neo, and I'm here to share some info with the people. Thank you very much for joining the show here at Committed Relationships and Spiritual Activity. And keep in mind that this is also a podcast and a YouTube channel where I share a large portion of my podcast episodes here on my YouTube channel here, so that people can get exposed to them. And if you want to download these episodes, you can definitely go to my website, which will be in the description, and I'll definitely have the link to the podcast that you can click on in the description here on the YouTube channel, and then go to the podcast and download the podcast right there to your computer or your phone or whatever, so that you can go ahead and listen to it anywhere you want, because I really feel like it's definitely good information, number one, but you can also, when you download these episodes, you can listen to them while you're at work, because I remember I used to download a variety of podcast episodes when I was for work. So while I'm sorting through the letters, I can go ahead and get some good information. And it's also entertaining too, to actually have something to listen to while you're at work, or even while you're going for your walk in the morning or at night. So go ahead and definitely check that out. So let me go ahead and give you guys brief information for the newbies, because that's what I like to do, because there's new people that join the show off of one video, so they have to get caught up. So briefly, for me, I started my personal development journey probably the mid to late 2000s, mid to late 2000. After a breakup I went through, and after that breakup with the woman from one of my relationships, that's when I realized that I had to learn what relationships are and how to behave within them. And I went on my own personal relationship study journey, and that's through a few basic books. Like the first book that got me started was the Straight Talk for Men About Marriage book, that book. And then I went on to another book titled Understanding Human Behavior, the 5 Secrets to Human Behavior. I think that's the exact title, but something like that, if that's not the exact title. And those 2 books really was the basis of my relationship studies. Then I had Psychology Today articles, a lot of those articles from those magazines. I like those magazines. And then after a while, I just started to develop a relationship mindset, to where I just know what to do, and new information just comes to me naturally. I can just be meditating, or sitting in this peaceful area, and just new information just comes to me about relationships. And I also do what I call people watching, whether it be at like a Walmart parking lot, a mall parking lot, anywhere where there's groups of people and I can just sit and just observe people. I get information that way too about relationships. And then when I was in the Jehovah's Witness organization, because that's what my mother brought us up into, that was when I also studied and really closely examined a lot of couples. And that gave me a lot of information too, like real deal close information, because with the couples, I was actually able to spend time with the couples and be able to see how they behave in various situations. So I took that as source material to help me out further throughout my studying. And overall studied this information for me personally, but after a while, I generated so much information that I just realized that it was best for me to go ahead and start giving this information out to people, so that they can actually learn it. So that's what I've been doing for these past few years with YouTube, blog articles, and really anywhere where I can. And then after a while, I also realized that I had to start focusing on my own personal development. So I worked on my personal development, and I've completed a whole lot of personal development, a lot of my personal development journey. So I'm much further than a lot of people, and I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot about the mind and how it functions and how to utilize it, and also how to program it. So that's why I included some of that information in my videos, previous videos. And that's what I'm going to speak about now. So I got that out of the way. So we're talking about personal development and positive beliefs in relationships. And I recently thought about this. This information is new information for me. And this is after me doing my own self-reflection and after doing more examination of the mind and how it works. And also, by the way, you guys, I'm telling you this, right now I'm out here on a golf course. I'm up like at the, not the tee, whatever you call the area where you start off, where you start off, where you hit the ball. I'm just relaxing here, and it is so peaceful and it's beautiful out here. So you might hear trees, you might hear the air, you might hear birds. I feel like this is the perfect area, nice and relaxing. Just thought I'd let you guys know. So what came to me, like me programming my own mind, which you literally have to program your own mind. Let me give you a brief example. Explanation of the mind. You have the subconscious mind, you have the conscious mind. And a lot of people have already heard this information, but I'm going to give this information quickly for the new people who have not heard this. And if you still want more information, go ahead and study this information for yourself. It's all on YouTube. I got a lot of this information, the basic information, from YouTube. After that, I just started to study my own mind, and I even programmed my own mind to help me study my own mind, study my own mind, and to comprehend the mind and how it works. So that's why a lot of this information can just come naturally, and new information just comes to me. I don't have to read books because I already have a program working in my own mind that helps me understand how the mind functions. And when you do that, when you understand this, there's so many things that you can program your own mind to do. So you have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the real deal source that we have to access if we want to change anything about ourselves and our lives. That includes all of our beliefs. It is our beliefs that provides all of the perceptions of life in general, the perceptions of everything. That includes your relationships, your beliefs of yourself, beliefs of your mother and father, everything. And all of our basic beliefs starts from our childhood. Our childhood is where our beliefs get started. And that is when we are literally unconscious and open to anything and everything in our environment, all the way up until the ages of 7 or 8 years of age. 8 years. And it's completely open. We're just accepting everything throughout our years. And that's why it is highly important for parents to really be conscious of the things that they're doing and saying to the child. Because the child, what the parents do within those first 7 or 8 years, that is what's going to create the beliefs within the child. And then from then on, the child is going to base their life off of those beliefs, whether they're positive or destructive and limiting. And on average, the parents are unconscious of stuff like this, and they are spiritually unconscious. So they don't know. They just basing their life off of societal beliefs. And societal beliefs, I think I might have had a video explaining that. Social programming, I believe. Yeah, social programming. So go check that video out also. And the societal beliefs are not necessarily beneficial for a person. And majority of the beliefs, the societal beliefs, are actually destructive and limiting. compared to what a person can actually do with their minds and with their life and the type of relationships that they can have. Because life is actually, like, in this realm that we call this physical world, it's literally an open source. And I'm going to do a video for my Subliminal video channel talking about how life, like the mind, is the matrix construct. You know, the construct in the matrix, where it was that white area where they can just sit there and think about and just request anything that they want. That's how our minds are, and that's how this realm is. Once people really get down to the real deal studying of the subconscious mind and they really understand it. So the conscious mind is what we're literally conscious of and what we do manually. Like, say for example, choosing what to wear, choosing the people that we want to be in relationships with, choosing what type of sneakers we want, choosing what cereal we want. Those we are making conscious decisions to a certain extent, because still with the subliminal messaging that goes on throughout world societies, especially here in America, there is a lot of subliminal suggestions that goes on. There's subliminal mind control, especially dealing with TV and radio, that programs people's minds to behave in certain ways. So I can give you an example. That particular cereal that you like, you might not necessarily actually like that cereal because you chose it. You might have been subliminally programmed to like that type of cereal. Also, there's all of our stereotypes come from the societal programming, whether it be TV, music, the radio, or wherever, or even our parents, anybody of our family. That's a programming, subliminal programming. And it is those beliefs that we have to actually examine to see if they're beneficial for us or not. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and talk about, you have to have positive, beneficial beliefs for your relationships. This is one of the top reasons why a lot of people's relationships have been dysfunctional and not working for them. Within those 7 or 8 years, as I mentioned, a lot of people have went through dysfunctional experiences during their childhood where they have not been able to experience positive relationships within their life. You know, you got a lot of people who parents have divorced during their childhood, the person's childhood, so they have not been able to see little to no positive relationship experiences regarding their parents. And then they have experienced a lot of arguments between their parents and fighting, physical and verbal fighting also. So if a person consistently saw that during their childhood, and also the person failed to do personal development work to recover from all of that garbage that they have experienced during their childhood in one way or another, then the person is going to have those beliefs, those experiences turn into beliefs, and those beliefs are actually going to have the person behave in a destructive manner, destructive, limiting manner. So, and also especially considering situations where a person saw physical and verbal abuse often. So the person might actually believe that it's okay to receive that and or to give it out, to dish it out. So that's where, in one way or another, it's going to play out in their relationships with other people, whether it be their committed relationships or their friendships with other people. And this is why I stress self-reflection so much. Self-reflection, self-analysis, and self-development. That is all a part of personal development, your personal development journey. If you do not change those negative limiting beliefs, then they're going to sabotage in one way or another your relationships. And this is where you have to change those beliefs so that you can have positive, beneficial beliefs that work for you. A beneficial belief is a belief that's like, let me see, what is a good belief? A good belief is I always behave in a mature manner during times of adversity. Now, say, for example, if you install that belief, I call them programs, but people can call them beliefs. I call them programs because your subconscious mind is actually the most advanced computer system ever. And computers are based off of our own minds and brains. If you go ahead and study it and you really look at it, it's based of our minds and brains. So what you can what it's the same as any other computer system where you can literally program it to do whatever you want to do. And those programs are the software to our mind, our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind actually is the connection to our soul, which is our divine spiritual self. And those programs are the commands to your soul saying that you want this and that in your life and you want to behave a certain way consistently. And changing those beliefs allows your subconscious mind to do things automatically for you, whether it be behaving in a certain way automatically, including your maturity, having an advanced communication abilities to where you speak on a very, very high level. Your communication skills are on a high level because our communication ability deals with the mind, not anything else. It deals with the mind. So you have to access your mind first and change those beliefs so that you can have better communication skills, social skills. Once I did that with myself and I changed my beliefs using my own subliminal videos and also audios, which program my own mind, now I'm much more on a higher advanced communication level, allowing me to be much more articulate in my vocabulary to expand greatly. And I'm a lot more conscious of the way that I speak. And now, now that I'm speaking about it, I'm doing my best to speak as clearly as possible. And when you're in communication and conversation with people, you also have to have open your mouth clearly so that your words can come out clearly. And there's a lot of people who are lazy speakers. They have a lazy tongue where they're incapable of speaking using pronunciating certain words because of their lazy tongue. And that only takes new beliefs and conscious effort to open their mouth more clearly and widely, and just take their time to the point where it becomes automatic. So that's the social skills aspect of personal development. So what you want to do is you want to have these positive beliefs within for that deal with your relationship aspect of your life. All beliefs that we have as a basis started from societal beliefs. The way that society has been built is just a system of control where there's programs everywhere programming people to behave in a certain way. So those basic beliefs are the social behavior beliefs. And people have to do their self-reflection to analyze which ones are beneficial for them and which ones aren't. So when it comes to relationships, and you have to cover all areas of your life. That includes money, relationships, what else? Money, relationships, communication, maturity, your cognitive abilities, being able to think clearly, and being on a high analytical level. Let's see here. I said money already. there's so many areas that you got to cover, and I'm still focusing on covering as many areas as possible. And just recently made me realize that I literally have to change my relationship beliefs. I thought I already was on a good level, but there's still a lot of limiting beliefs that I'm discovering and also focusing on changing myself. So that's why I came to this video. So what you want to do is you have to pay attention closely to how you behave in certain areas of your relationships. And that's all of your relationships, all the way from your family relationships to your associates and to your close friends. Pay attention to the various things that go throughout your life and how you react to them. When you react negatively to a certain situation and or thing that people do or say to you, an overall experience, then that lets you know that that's an indication you have a limiting belief. And especially if it makes you fearful, sad, or anything that's the opposite of happiness and pleasure, that's a limiting belief that you have to check that out. And especially if it's something where you feel like you have to manipulate somebody or anything of that nature, that's a limiting belief that you have to actually examine and ask yourself, now, what is it that I believe that caused me to feel this way? And you got to wait for the response. The response is going to come through some kind of energy, feeling. It's going to come as a thought, as an image, or even something else external to show you, like, look, this is what you believe. And you have to face it. You have to own it, because the only way you can change it is once you own it. If you don't own it, then you can't really change it. So you got to just accept it and then figure out where it came from, because a large portion of the time it comes from our unconscious parents. And there's no need to be mad at them, because they did a lot of things prematurely, and that's how a lot of people do. They get in relationships prematurely, then they have children prematurely. Once I realized that, I'm like, okay, shoot, I gotta pay attention to this for myself. And that's exactly what I've been doing for myself. So you do that. Once you do that, then you got to figure out what new belief you want to replace that with. And then what you need to do to change your behavior as far as consciously, because you can consciously change your behavior, to do it, to change your beliefs manually, because there's manual ways of changing your beliefs, and there's a much more convenient automatic way of doing it. Nowadays, there's a lot of technology that helps us change our beliefs within our own mind. You have subliminal videos, you have subliminal audios that you can play over and over again, or you can even, let me see here, you can also place up positive affirmations throughout your home that you're going to be at frequently. And I do mine as little paper notes. You can do post-it notes, post them up there, and post them anywhere in your room. Positive affirmations anywhere in the room that you're going to be at predominantly. So me, I have little pieces of paper with the affirmations posted in different areas of the room that I'm at frequently. Me personally, I do a variety of, I have a variety of methods of changing my beliefs, of accessing my subconscious mind. I do a variety of them. I do more than one. After realizing and studying what's the best ways to do it, I do a variety of them. I use my own subliminal videos, my subliminal audios, because I especially play them while I'm jogging and walking throughout my day. I just play them, just press play, and then I have music, and also I have the subliminals under the music playing. So I got that covered, and then I also have the post-it notes throughout my room. That helps out. And then also, once I become conscious of a negative belief that I want to change, that I can actually focus myself manually and consciously on, that helps me out too. So I got that covered. So I'm really covered in all areas as much as possible, that submerge myself in the new beliefs that I want installed in my mind, and those automatically change and get installed instead of the old ones, and they replace the old ones. So that's how you have to do it. And there are many times where it takes, well, yeah, overall it takes some time, just like it took time for you to get programmed from your societal beliefs with your societal beliefs as a young person. Because if you think about it, one of the societal beliefs is that makes people believe that they have to be an employee of a company in order to make money. That is one of the top major beliefs that people have. And that's why they have the employee mindset. As I mentioned in one of my videos that's on my Subliminal video YouTube channel, I go into detail talking about the employee mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset. Most people have the employee mindset, and that comes from the societal beliefs, the societal programming. So a lot of people, they can't even fathom being able to have their own business and or service where they are able to do what they want to do, wake up whenever they want to wake up, and accept any projects that they want to accept and deny. They can't fathom that. So, and it's the same thing with my mother. She can't really fathom me being an entrepreneur. She can't understand it because she has the employee mindset. So that's the difference between that. So you got to change those beliefs. So it takes a minimum of 3 months to really see real deal major results on average. But for me, throughout a lot of my subliminal things, I've started to see some things happen, change within me within the first week of me using it. But it becomes automatic the more you use them, the longer the duration of using these subliminal messaging methods. Right. So when it comes to relationships, you got to change those negative beliefs, because that is what is causing the dysfunction within your relationships. And just think back in your childhood. How often have you seen and heard positive relationships during your childhood versus dysfunctional relationships? And I can use me as an example. My parents divorced when I was age 4, and I didn't ever see them together, holding hands, kissing, showing love with each other, and being peaceful with each other. So with that right there, that did not allow me to be able to know how to function within relationships. And I had to do a lot of self-reflection and self-analysis and self-development to really get myself on a higher level regarding relationships, just because of that. And that's just one example. So it's like if a person hasn't seen positive examples in their relationships, their childhood, then it's difficult for them to actually know how to exist in relationships. Even if you do see those positive relationships, you still have to have installed positive beliefs within your mind, positive programs that help the success of your relationships. And you have to work on your mental health, because there's a lot of people due to their childhood that cause them to have ill mental health. Their mental health is not at an adequate, stable level. So that's the thing you got to consider too. It's not just the looks of a person that you want to get involved with. It's also the quality of their mind. Me studying the mind, that's when I realized, like, oh man, I really have to pay attention to the mind of the people, the refinement level, before I commit to them with anything. That's what I recommend you guys do. So that's that. I'm gonna end that, and also I'm gonna let y'all know about the personal development subliminal video that I also have available to you guys for $15. It is a personal development video, subliminal video, as I was mentioning about subliminals, subliminal video that helps you get started on your personal development journey. And for those, especially good for those people who don't even know where to start, You start with that subliminal video, and then your own subconscious mind will point out to you where to go to start within your life, because your own subconscious mind knows exactly what you need in your life, where to go to get what you need, and how to complete whatever it is that you need to complete. So these subliminal videos are not going to just magically have things appear in your life, but it's going to change your perception of the people, places, and things of your life, so that you know where to go, what to do, and how to do it. And it helps change your behavior. So you still have to do the personal development work. You have to do the physical getting up and going somewhere and changing certain things, and also letting certain negative people go out of your life, including if it is family members. And I'm telling you, those family members can be the worst enemies in your life, whether they are conscious of it or not, because your family members are, remember, they're unconscious of their behavior. And a lot of them don't want to do personal development work and get and focus on improving their mental health. So until they get to that level where they actually want to improve themselves, it is essential that you limit your exposure to them, even if it is your mother or your father. And for me, it's both my mother and father, starting with them, and then it trickles down to the rest of my family. So I limit my exposure to them until they decide to get themselves together psychologically, because that is what matters most. It does not matter if a person has all of those material possessions, because the material possessions is just a direct result of a person's belief system. But what's most important is the mental health first, and also having that adequate psychological maturity. What most people have nowadays is artificial maturity. Go get the book Artificial Maturity. That's the third book that got me started also. It's a maroon looking book with a little kid on the front of it. It's called Artificial Maturity. No, I don't know who the author is. Go get that book too. Those are the top 3 books I recommend you getting to start your personal development journey, also along with getting a personal development subliminal video from me, which will be in the description as far as the information there. Which all you got to do is just send me a email with the subject line PD subliminal video request. Let me know what you want. You want either the standard one for $15 or you want a custom one. If you want more information about what the custom subliminal videos contain, then go ahead. You can check out my website, which will be in the description, and you can also check out my subliminal video YouTube channel that contains a variety of free subliminal videos of mine. Where was I? Shoot, I went into that. So change your beliefs. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out here. Oh, the books I recommend you reading. The ones that got me started is Straight Talk for Men About Marriage. That's especially good for men, and it's not. And the guy is coming from a Christian marriage standpoint. But if you're not of that faith at all, and if you're not in religion, then you gotta learn how to just bypass that Christian and other religious type of stuff. Bypass that and just get the meat of the information. That was the book that made me realize that I had to focus on my self-reflection and my childhood issues that I had to resolve. Starting with the major one was my mother, the major psychological issues that I had with her. That was within my own mind. It wasn't her. It was just the beliefs that I had to change that will give me a different perspective and a better perspective, which now I see that she had children prematurely and it messed up her whole life in a variety of ways. And she still has a lot of psychological work that she needs to get done. And then I realized that within myself. So that's what I've been working on for myself. So that's what I've been working on, is my own mind and improving myself. So that's what's most important in our lives, is improving ourselves first and foremost. and avoid blaming other people. Yes, certain people did certain things to you, but it's also your own belief system that matters most. Because if you change your beliefs, like I said, you change your beliefs, you change your reality, your whole life. And it is serious. I'm telling you, once you understand it, you can realize you can do anything you want in your life just by changing your beliefs and following those instructions that your subconscious mind tells you. And it tells you in thoughts, images, overall emotions towards something, and it'll pull you towards something, to do something and or speak something to someone. Those are your subconscious intuitive impressions. So then you got to learn how to identify the language of your subconscious mind from your beliefs too. That's another thing. It takes time to really study this, but once you study it, life is so much easier. And yes, it becomes so much easier because you know exactly what you need to change within yourself in order to get what you want and need in your life, including the right relationships. All right, so go ahead, check the description after this video, read the description, and I'm going to do my best to put everything important in the description. And remember that this is also going to be on my podcast section. So if you want, you can go ahead and download this and listen to it again, which I recommend that you listen to it again, if not later on in the day, at least later on in the week, so that you can go ahead and get a better understanding of it. And that's how you're supposed to do with your mind also. Any information like an audio book or a video that deals with providing you certain information that you want to learn, it is essential that you listen to it every so often, a few times, either a month or a few times within a few months, so that you can really get a clear understanding of it. And then that's when it'll get into your subconscious mind. Once it gets into your subconscious mind, it becomes automatic, and that's when you internalize it. That's the difference with a lot of people. They have the data, the information, which is the knowledge, but they fail to internalize it. And that's what artificial maturity is. People see all of the material things and they think that a person is mature, but they have not psychologically internalized the information. So that's what you got to work on, is internalizing it. And you internalize certain things by conditioning yourself, by viewing and or listening to something over and over again. All right, thank you very much for listening, and until next. Oh, also like, comment, share, and subscribe. Even if it's something like a thank you, give me some feedback as far as commenting, and also share wherever you feel is a good place to share it. Thank you.